All right. This is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I am here with King Cobra Katrina.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, we got
Nice.
a snake.
Okay.
And we
Man,
got-
why am I the snake?
Your name just worked out.
It just, yeah.
We've got Jackhammer Joel.
Hey guys, what's up? With
Doesn't really
Jackhammer
go,
for this
but
one.
Not
Not
really.
a whole lot of things that go with Jay for this movie.
Yeah. Took me a little while, so we're going with Jackhammer.
All right.
So we are back to talk about a brand new film. But before we get to it, you guys got to make sure you are subscribed to Scare Talk. Looking at some of the statistics of Scare Talk, less than half of you that watch our stuff are subscribed. So
Oh man.
go subscribe so you can see when our
Get
stuff
on it.
is coming out. And
Yeah.
you can click the bell to get a notification about it. And it'll start showing up on your feed on YouTube's first and early when we put something out. So make sure you do that, like this video and any of the other ones that you like. And now for the review of Blink Twice.
Twice.
Joel, can you
Not
tell
once,
us who
but
who is a part of it?
Yeah, so this one stars Channing Tatum. He was in the Magic Mike trilogy. Now they made 3 of those movies. Kind of crazy.
Wow.
Step Up 1 and 2. And my favorite sports movie ever, Coach Carter.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He was one of the
I did
basketball
not
players.
remember he
He
was
was one of the basketball players.
Hmm.
And most recently, he was in Deadpool and Gambit, or in Wolverine as Gambit.
As Gambit,
Deadpool
yeah.
and Wolverine as Gambit,
Okay.
which is kind of cool because he's been trying to get that movie made for 20 years. So, the fact
Oh,
that they
wow,
finally
okay.
let him do it was like. Then we got Naomi Aki. She is our main character besides Channing Tatum. And she was in this Whitney Houston movie called Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Oh, yes.
As Whitney
Good
Houston.
movie.
So
That was a
she
very
was-
good movie.
Okay.
And she did fabulous.
Nice.
Yes.
I wonder if she was actually
kind of
singing.
looked like her.
Yeah. I wonder if was she actually singing in that movie or
I don't know. I mean, there was singing, but I don't know if it was actually her or not.
Mhm.
But yeah, she did.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
She was also in this, I think it was a Netflix show called The End of the Effing World for 7 episodes.
Okay.
And she was in Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
And then we got Aaliyah Shawkat. She is her best friend who was in it for a big portion of the movie. She was in Green Room.
Role.
Yeah. She was in Green Room, which I love that movie with Patrick Stewart as a Nazi. It's awesome. The Final Girls and 84 episodes of Arrested Development. So that's where I actually knew her from the most. I love that show. It also co-starred Christian Slater and Gina Davis in supporting roles. And this was written by E.T. Feigenbaum, who has done 1 episode of High Fidelity. And so that's it. And also Zoe Kravitz, who is also the director, who was also only wrote this and 1 episode of High Fidelity, which she starred in that show. So
Is she an actress? I feel like that name sounds so familiar. Okay.
Well, she's the daughter of Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zoe Kravitz, she was Catwoman in the Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she's been in a lot of stuff too, but yeah, that was probably one of the most recent ones. Directed by Zoe Kravitz, and this is her directorial debut. So, first movie.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay.
So, when tech billionaire Slater King meets cocktail waitress Frida at his fundraising gala, he invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation on his private island. As strange things start to happen, Frida questions her reality.
Oh man.
Okay.
It's a questionable reality.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is in question. So,
okay.
This has been out for just a few days, but
Yep.
there are some reviews out there.
There are some reviews.
Katrina, can you let us know what the critics and the audience is saying?
Yeah. So we'll start with the Rotten Tomatoes. It's fresh. It's got a 77% so far, only 150 reviews, but it's doing pretty good.
Okay.
And then 68% on the audience score.
Okay.
So still pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then on, this is interesting. Huh. It doesn't have an IMDb. Let me go to IMDb specifically. Because usually that's the next score that's there, but it has it from IGN. Let's see what IMDb thinks. Usually they're pretty similar to the audience score. They're a 7. They're at a 7.
All right, 7.0.
Yeah, and actually they have more reviews than Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And then we've got Google has it at a 3.0. It's got a lot of 5s and a lot of 1s, and then a few in betweens.
Okay. So what is that? What percent is that?
Stop that.
That's weird. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't coming up on your IMDb, what you're looking at, it's also not showing a Metascore on here on IMDb, which is the critic score. So
okay. And then mine on my search is showing the Metacritic score.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well.
Anyway.
All right.
So it's
kind of interesting how it's displayed, different than other movies.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's got a pretty solid score all around from the critics and the audience. Having a 7 on IMDb at this point, even a few days later, is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Probably won't change too much.
I mean, only 5,000 reviews though. Like,
yeah.
This is one of those movies that if I hadn't, there was an actual poster for it in my theater. If I hadn't seen that poster, I wouldn't have known this movie was coming out. Like I saw maybe 1 or 2 trailers for it, but other than that, like this, for like at least for me, it was kind of swept under the radar.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of advertisement. I mean, it's not like Smile 2 or Trap or those movies that have been advertised for months and months. I do remember seeing a trailer for this during one movie a while ago, and then we started seeing them more recently, the last couple of movies. But yeah, it's not like it's been going on forever like those other trailers do. Like Speak No Evil, like man, how many times are we gonna see that trailer?
Yeah, my goodness.
So, anyways, and Smile too. Jeez.
Yeah, this one just recently started showing a little more regularly.
Yeah.
And if we didn't go to the movies so often, we probably wouldn't have had it on our radar either.
Yeah.
And it was not like talked about. It wasn't like there wasn't a lot.
Still, people aren't talking about it. Like people were talking about The Crow. No one's talking about Blink Twice, which I mean they did come out in the same day. But
usually it's unless you got Barbie and Oppenheimer, usually it's the one big movie each week that people are talking about. It's kind of overshadows the other ones. We haven't seen The Crow yet, the new one, but I can guarantee, for my preference, I'm liking Blink Twice more than that. Probably. Haven't seen it yet, so I'd be pleasantly surprised if I like that a lot more than this. So, with that being said, I did like this movie. I think it's not my attention was always there. It never strayed. I was always kind of interested in what was going to happen. There was a lot of like repetitive parts, I felt like, during the night scenes. It was kind of like, okay, we get it. You guys are doing this every night. Like, we're having a great time every night. Like, I get it. So it was a lot of repetitive stuff. But once you get to, toward the end, then that stuff is like, oh man, okay.
Yeah.
So it matters. It ends up mattering. But while I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, we get it. Like, I don't need to see you guys doing this every night. Like, is there more to the story here? But once things start, the suspicion starts to build, then the movie's really good. It takes a little while to get there, but when it really starts to build, then it's good. And I'll just say this about the subject matter. This, I think, is, well, you know what? I'm going to save it for the spoiler section because I think even saying it is going to give away kind of the message of the movie, which I don't want to, because there is a message.
Yeah.
And I don't want to even allude to it since, for people who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So,
but we will say right at the beginning of the movie, right when you get in there before the movie starts, it does have like a trigger warning right away.
I didn't get one of those.
You didn't?
Oh. No, not my theater.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it had
a hardcore over there.
Apparently so.
Yeah. This was the first time I've ever seen a movie do this. And it had like a full trigger warning, like said trigger warning, and then like had a description of why it had a trigger warning. So this movie is in that, I don't think this is a spoiler, that and I think it's important that going into it.
Yeah, I think it did spoil the movie a little bit for me though.
Really?
A little bit.
It wasn't in like
I was expecting.
Okay, well
none
then
of that is in the trailer.
Okay, well then I guess I will just say there is a trigger warning, and if you are someone who is sensitive to certain subjects, I would look up whether what the trigger warning is for this movie. I would not recommend this movie for people who do have some sensitivities to certain subject matters. We won't say what that is right now because it is a spoiler, and so we don't want to give away what the movie is. Like it gives away what the big mystery is. But that is important for viewers to know that while and it sounded like you like the movie and would recommend the movie. I would recommend it with caution. 100%.
Right. Joel, what do you think?
Sorry, I gotta screen bigger.
There you go.
I did enjoy it. When you get to that, so I didn't see the trigger warning on my screen. Like they didn't show it, but I did, like someone on like one of the social media, so I think Facebook, one of my pages I'm on, like posted the trigger warning on there.
Oh,
so like I knew that there was one, but I had, by the time I got to that scene, I had forgotten about that, and it kind of did jar me a little bit because like I knew something had to like go wrong in this movie. Like there was, it's a thriller. It's a light horror. I think I wouldn't consider it like, up until that point, there's a mystery. You don't know what's going on. But so like I knew something had to happen, but I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea. And that part was took me by surprise a little bit. but the movie itself I thought was good. The acting was really good. Channing Tatum even has a pretty good monologue at the end of the movie. Towards the end of the movie, that was really good too. And I want to see him in more of these roles, more of these like dramatic, like suspenseful horror roles.
Yeah, he did good. He really sold his character.
Yeah,
and the way that it was like, because it's partly the directing too, like because there's a lot of close-ups on his face and like close-ups on some of the girls and the way they're looking at him, and all of that stuff is really important to get across the feel of the movie and to kind of put you in their shoes. So I think if it wasn't for that, he might not stand out as much. But that kind of stuff really helped bring his character to life more. So I think you got to give credit to the director and cinematographer, for those things
for her
too.
first time as a director, it's pretty good. But so I enjoyed it. I don't want to like say too much because we want a lot of this is buried underneath spoilers. A lot of this movie. So we don't want to say a whole lot, but everything about this movie, I enjoyed it, and everything about it.
Especially those scenes.
I don't know.
Those are great.
I don't know about that.
Stop. That's too much. Too soon.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's
it. Does have a couple of things that plot wise I have questions about. And we'll get to that with spoilers. There's just, I don't know, I didn't like a couple of I don't know if it's conveniences or like I don't know, some of it I just didn't care for, but overall I think it has a good message. I think it has multiple messages. Well, I mean, I guess it can all be combined into one thing, but I think it can branch out too to different areas if you want to expand on it. I think it can kind of go in different directions.
Yeah, I would say it does have multiple. Like, I wouldn't even say that you necessarily need to group it as the one message and branching out from that.
Yeah.
I think that there are different messages within it.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that in spoilers.
Yeah.
A lot of this is going to be talk about that in spoilers. But yeah.
Do you guys have any negatives?
I'm trying to think because I'm sure there was. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know if any negatives I had. I don't know if I'd be able to talk. Well, I don't really even know if I do have any negatives for this movie.
Perfect score.
Well,
no, I don't
so I don't know. I don't know that it's a negative as much as just there were definitely like, because I want to watch it again, and I'm like apprehensive about watching it again, and because of some of the scenes, and so because of like what we're saying with that trigger warning, I think that had I known what was going to be in it, I don't know if I would have ever watched the movie. I'm kind of glad that I didn't know, because I did enjoy the movie, but I want to see it again, and I'm like, do I want to see it again?
Just close your eyes for a little bit.
Yeah.
So without saying anything like too much, what'd you guys think of the end?
Oh, loved the end.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah. I was really excited about that.
Yeah. It took me a second to kind of understand. and like the scene before the very end too was like, wait, what?
The
This is
scene
weird.
before I kind of had some issue with.
Okay.
And so we'll talk about that. But the end, I did kind of see it coming a bit.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. But I mean, not like the whole time.
Yeah.
But like when it was
Once we
happening,
get
I was like,
through,
yeah. But I was really excited about that too. I liked that being the wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, go ahead, Joel.
The ending was. I thought the ending was good. I want to know what scene you guys are talking about, as far as what part you didn't like. The scene before. The scene before the very last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
I mean, I think
maybe the scene before that. It depends on what you.
Because I'm not. Yeah, we need to talk about that because I'm not entirely sure.
Something.
But yeah, I thought.
Toward the end, and it kind of leads to the very end, and so that's, I think, what we're talking about.
That part. That was one of those, I think, conveniences that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah.
And I wasn't too thrilled about that.
It took a minute.
About that earlier
part. About that particular scene, just because it happened so fast.
Yes, exactly.
That it's just like, okay, okay.
All right. Yeah, that was my beef with it. Was just like, it was like instant.
Yeah.
And that was like, no, that doesn't work with the whole rest of everything else. That's where I was like,
and then something else I think took too long.
Exactly.
Where it was like, okay, certain characters this happened quickly.
Yeah,
some
exactly.
Others, took a lot longer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that's where the plot is a little.
You're taking exactly what I was gonna all say in spoilers.
Well,
but I guess we can say it here without saying it here.
What are we even talking about?
I know. Who knows? But Joel, what about like the very end? Did you like how that summed it up?
Yeah, I did. I was like, after the movie was over, I was like thinking to myself about that particular ending and whether or not I liked how that ended. And I think I did like how it ended. I think it overall makes sense to the story, and we'll definitely talk about it more in the spoiler section. But I think, I don't know how else you're going to end this movie.
I think there was an obvious way to end it, but then they didn't.
Well, yeah, there was. There was an obvious way of ending it for sure, but the way that the character was, I feel like for her character, this is how she would have. This is her ending to the story. Yeah. So, if that does make sense, then I can explain later. But, but I liked it. I thought it was a good ending. It wasn't the best ending, so maybe that's my complaint. Whereas, it was good, but it wasn't great, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I'll be curious to hear more.
So I'll say there are some movies that go about, that try to do what this movie did, but they try to do it too much. And they try to do it the entire movie. And then it's like, okay, we get it, And I don't like when it's like that.
Yeah.
This one was clever and well done with what it was trying to say. So I will praise it for that, because sometimes there's certain movies where it's like, no, you're trying too hard. And this one, I think, did a good job with making it still a good movie, but then you add on some of the extra stuff, and it's like, okay, now it's an even better movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I will praise it for that. It was tactful, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It was tactful in some parts.
It's like you can't say like too positive on like.
Anyways, yeah, you can't love it too much.
Yeah, if you love it too much,
Yeah.
you're just a little
Yeah,
too.
like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with
Yeah.
you?
It's
Yeah.
this is the perfect movie. No.
It's my favorite
Yeah,
movie now. So watch it all the time.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
So rewatchable.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and grade it so
Oh.
we can get into some spoilers. So
100.
let's go.
No.
Let's go with Joel first.
Oh man. Yeah, this one I did like it a lot. I'm probably gonna give it an 85.
Cool.
Okay.
Solid score.
Right in the middle, right next to B.
Okay. Katrina.
Yeah. I was in that realm too, where a big part of my score is the like originality of the story. Like this is definitely not a story that's been told. It didn't feel like anything that has been done. Very original story. Plot, everything. It's not super duper rewatchable. At the same time, it is rewatchable because you want to watch and see like, okay, wait, now I want to put that together. So it does have that rewatchability.
Yeah, it has like a second viewing, but not maybe a third, fourth, fifth,
Yeah. No. Well, and I think it depends on your kind of, I don't know, your comfort level. Yeah. And
how triggered are you?
Yeah. But also the scenes are so the amount of like what was shown, the amount of time that it was shown was not long.
Yeah.
So you could, so that makes it a little more rewatchable too. So with that, I'm gonna actually go with Joel and do 85 too. Just a mid B.
Yeah. Man, this is a tough one. It's a tough one.
You don't want to go too high because
then you're a little
enjoy it too much.
Oh man, I think I'm just gonna be in agreement. Okay. I think we're all gonna go 85.
85
I think
is
Scare Talk approves of this movie. It's a good movie if you're a horror fan, thriller fan, but psychological, not too easily. Psychological horror. Yeah,
that's what it calls it. It calls it a psychological thriller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some horrific things, and there is some, horror for sure.
Yeah.
And there's some blood and gore, and there's definitely some stuff like that. So if you're looking for that in your horror films, it's there. So you just gotta wait a while.
Yeah,
you do, but it's gotta build your story up first.
Yeah, people have said that this movie is really, really slow, and they didn't like it because it took so long to get to where it was going.
It's not slow.
I
disagree.
You just have to have some patience and some it builds some care of characters and some personalities of the characters.
I will say that like each character had their own personality, stuck to their own personality, and I felt like we're really good at portraying that personality. It was good acting.
It was
very good acting.
And I love Christian Slater. Like, he's one of those classic actors that I really, really like. He hasn't done a lot of like starring roles, at least especially
Not really,
recently. But back in the 80s, he had a few, and then in the 90s, like Broken Arrow. I love that movie. He's like the main good guy in the movie.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I really like him. I wish he was in the movie more and maybe, played a different role. But but he was funny in this movie. Actually, there was some comedy during the tough
especially
times
during
that was laugh out loud funny.
I forgot Haley Joel Osment was also in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was fun to see because he wasn't a big role at all.
No, yeah.
But he just has such a look, even as an adult, which you don't see him in a lot anymore.
Not really.
Like, but even as an adult, it's like you still see that little face in him.
Yeah,
it's like,
still got that
I know him.
He's just a lot bigger now.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's it. If you want to listen to more and watch more of us talk about the spoilers, if you've seen this movie, I think it'll be important to come along with us to talk spoilers to see if you agree with what we say and you maybe caught more than what we caught. Maybe you can let us know if we missed some stuff. So go to patreon.com/scaretalk and you can sign up for 7 days free.
Yeah.
And you can see all of our videos from this year, which will include the spoilers, only on Patreon. There's some extra exclusive episodes on Patreon. We're actually going to be doing a Patreon exclusive of our top 5 trilogies, horror trilogies. So that'll be a fun one. And that'll be on Patreon pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, otherwise,
let's get scary.
Let's get scary. Otherwise, we'll see you guys.